I'd like to take a moment to let you all know about a new non-profit organization started by my brother Craig. It's called Treats and Truth. They fill oversized brown lunch bags with snack items, chips, crackers, popcorn, cookies, etc. Also, a bottle of water, toothbrush, toothpaste, sanitary wipes, and most importantly, a small gospel-tract book of John. No cigar? I'll have to talk to him about that. The bags are then hand-delivered to the homeless and people in need in and around the Los Angeles area. Let's help get this ministry off the ground. They're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, so any and all donations are tax-deductible and greatly appreciated. Visit their website at treatsandtruth.org. Check out the show notes for the link. Also, please follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Welcome to episode 233 of the Burning Bush Podcast, where we share the message of the Bible while enjoying a good cigar. Hope you're doing well, and I'm glad you've joined me. In this episode, we're reading the New Testament book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, with commentary from the notes in the Charles Spurgeon Study Bible, and I'm smoking the Man o' War Virtue in the Torpedo 6.5 by 52 Vitola. So let's go to cigarsinternational.com and see what they have to say. From the half-man, half-god creators of Man o' War comes a mellow contender. Man o' War, the recently crowned king of Full-Bodied, has just dropped another bomb. This time, a gentler, handmade Man o' War Virtue, and it is spectacular. Dressed in a seamless, silky smooth Connecticut seed wrapper grown in Ecuador and generously filled with Nicaraguan long fillers, Virtue is brimming smooth and creamy complex flavors. Mellow and medium-bodied, but filled with richness and flavor, Man o' War Virtue is impressively complex and refined. Notes of oak, cream, nuts, and a toasty but buttery smooth finish make up the core profile. Subtle hints of white pepper and sweetness round out the mix. Well made, perfectly blended, and extraordinarily tasty, Man o' War Virtue sets the new standard in Connecticut-wrapped cigars. Perfect in the morning, perfect after a big meal, just perfect. And the profile is mild to medium. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Connecticut, and the binder and filler are both Nicaraguan. And the Vitolas are the Lonsdale 6x44, Robusto 5x50, Toro 6x50, Torpedo 6.5x52, the Salomon 5.7x54, and the Churchill 7.5x52. That is the Man o' War Virtue. So let's get into our reading of 1 Corinthians chapter 2. I am reading from the English Standard Version, the ESV, and verse 1 reads, "And I, when I came to you, brothers, did not come proclaiming to you the testimony of God with lofty speech or wisdom. For I decided to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ and Him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my message were not in plausible words of wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, so that your faith might not rest in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Yet among the mature we do impart wisdom, although it is not a wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this age, who are doomed to pass away. but we impart a secret and hidden wisdom of God, which God decreed before the ages for our glory. None of the rulers of this age understood this, for if they had, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, what no eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor the heart of man imagined, what God has prepared for those who love him. These things God has revealed to us through the Spirit, for the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. And Spurgeon comments on verses 9 and 10. What no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no human heart has conceived, God has prepared these things for those who love him. Now God has revealed these things to us by the Spirit. How frequently verses of Scripture are misquoted? How frequently do we hear believers describing heaven as a place of which we cannot conceive? They quote verse 9, and there they stop, not seeing that the marrow of the whole passage lies in verse 10. The apostle was not talking about heaven at all. He was only saying that the wisdom of this world is not able to discover the things of God, that the merely carnal mind is not able to know the deep spiritual things of our most holy faith, as the following verses make clear. This text teaches that the things of God cannot be perceived by eye, ear, or heart, but must be revealed by the Spirit of God, as they are to all true believers. And continuing in verse 11, for who knows a person's thoughts except the spirit of that person, which is in him? So also, no one comprehends the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, that we might understand the things freely given us by God. And we impart this in words not taught by human wisdom, but taught by the Spirit, interpreting spiritual truths to those who are spiritual. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned. The spiritual person judges all things, but is himself to be judged by no one. And Spurgeon comments on verses 14 and 15. The person without the Spirit, the spiritual person. The Apostle Paul knew of only two classes of people. Under the term, the person without the Spirit, the Apostle included all those who are not partakers of the Spirit of God. It does not matter how excellent, how respectable, how intelligent, how instructed they may be. If the Spirit of God has not given to them a new and higher nature than they possess by their natural birth, Paul put them all down at once in the list of those without the Spirit. They are what they are by nature. On the other hand, all into whom the Spirit of God has come, breathing into them a new and divine life, Paul categorized as under the heading of spiritual. They may be as yet but babies in grace. Their faith may be weak. Their love may be but in its early bud. As yet their spiritual senses may be little exercised. Perhaps their faults may be in excess of their virtues. But inasmuch as the root of the matter is in them, and they have passed from death to life, he grouped them in the category of spiritual. And then he went on to affirm concerning those without the Spirit that the truths of God, which are spiritual, they do not and cannot receive. Paul taught that it is utterly impossible that they should ever receive such spiritual truths unless they are lifted out of that class of those without the Spirit and transformed by the Spirit's work into spiritual persons. This change, however, being effected, they will not only receive the things of the Spirit, but embrace them with delight, feed on them with intense satisfaction, and eventually rise into that state of glory that is beyond the state of grace. And we'll finish up the chapter with verse 16. For who has understood the mind of the Lord so as to instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. That's the end of this episode. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to the Charles Spurgeon Study Bible, as well as today's cigar. Also, Groundworks Ministries for daily Bible studies and devotionals. Treats and Truth Ministry, where you can get involved in helping to spread the gospel to and be a blessing to the homeless. And the Burning Bush Merchandise Store, where you can pick up some items to help spread the word about the show. If you know anyone who needs to hear this, please let them know about the podcast and help share the message of the Bible, the hope we have in Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ. If you'd like to contact me, you can email me at steve@theburningbushpodcast.com, which is linked in the show notes as well. So until next time, have a great day, have a great cigar, and God bless.